welcome you here to the Carpenters Apprentice. Today, I've got a very exciting interview for you. We have Madge's Food Company, and they are coming in to talk to us. They're doing some very exciting stuff, so please welcome my friend, Mr. Mike Miller. Come through, brother. How are you? Please take a seat. Let's have a conversation. Okay, so first things first, want to introduce yourself to the people and tell them a little bit about you?
Yeah, my name is Mike Miller. I'm the founder of Madge's Food, a company out of San Antonio here that we have a fermented food and beverage company.
Okay, awesome. And so what does that mean, fermented food and beverage?
So it's kind of our mission is to make food that makes a difference in people's lives, 1 billion microbes at a time. So these are live foods. These are foods that are giving back to people in our gut health, in our microbiome. And so we're just developing food that actually gives us life.
How does and I know a lot of these fermented foods are kind of like a new hot thing, right? For some people, well, they're not new and hot. How long has fermented food been around?
500,000-600,000 years.
Okay, so pretty new.
Yeah.
But I've seen it a lot at the grocery store now, I guess you would say.
Yeah, so it's old world food, but it's the new science that's really catching on. So believe it or not, I mean, like I said, the food's been around for thousands of years. However, the science behind it is like the new frontier in microbiology.
Okay.
You know, we just got done mapping the human DNA, right?
Yes.
Well, now they're set about mapping the human biome. So in other words, we're actually more bacteria than we are human cells.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Do a lot of people know this when you're telling them that?
No, they don't really. I mean, I kind of make a joke, right? You know, say, you realize we're more bug than human, so that explains a lot of people, right? It's kind of my joke, right? But it's true.
So we have more bacteria in our body than human cells?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact number. It's like 30 trillion to 40 trillion.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we have like 40 trillion bacteria cells compared to about 30 trillion human cells. So we're actually more bacteria and other beings than human.
When you're talking about fermented food, does it taste any good?
Yeah, so it's in the eye of the beholder, right? I mean, it's definitely not the mainstream food. It does not feed America's sugar addiction. So because of that, you know, you have especially a lot of people that have grown up with processed foods. Unless they fundamentally want to make the change, it's different, right? It's typically sour. And so maybe that's not what most people are used to in their food products. I mean, their candies and stuff like that, they like sour. But your side dish be sour is kind of unique, right? So some people it can throw them off a little bit. But some people like myself, man, it's just like, you know, your mouth salivates it.
And you know what, actually talking about yourself, how did you even get into this stuff? Because I would not, like if I saw that on the internet, I'm not going home and trying to make it. Yeah,
you know, it's funny, especially since our top product is kimchi, people go, well, you're not Korean. And I go, no, I'm actually a middle-aged white guy making a kick-ass, kimchi. So how did I get into it? And I don't come from the food business. You know, this is actually before the food industry. I was working oil over in South Texas, Louisiana. So, so how did I get into this fermented? Well, I grew up in Los Angeles, right, which is a very multicultural city. And so I've always been a foodie. I've always loved food, enjoyed food. Going to UCLA, I had a lot of Asian friends that exposed me to, true, whether it be like Mandarin Chinese or had Korean friends. And that's kind of how I fell in love with, kimchi. I hated kimchi until a Korean friend brought some that his mom made. And then I had it with fresh steamed rice. I was like, oh my God, this is great.
Wait. Kimchi is a food? I thought it was a drink.
So no, kimchi is actually a fermented Napa cabbage. It's like
sauerkraut?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Korean version of sauerkraut, even though that doesn't do it any service. So in Korea, it's like their national food dish.
Okay.
I mean, they're eat it 3 times a day. You step off the plane over there and it smells like kimchi. I mean, it's that. It's just that much part of the culture.
How does it make you feel are you noticing any differences with your personal health from the kimchi or anything?
Yeah, so while everybody around me is complaining about getting the flu every year, I never get flu shots. I haven't been sick in 3 years.
What?
So, and we've we don't really have any scientific proof of this, but we just kind of did anecdotal evidence with other people that we know that eat kimchi and people in their family that are eating it, and there's a correlation between those that are consuming more kimchi have had less sickness than those that don't eat it at all have been falling prey. So, like I said, there is a huge link into our health between our gut health. It's just like I said, that's the science we're starting to realize, that our gut health controls depression. Our gut health controls a lot of different aspects of our health. There's actually more neurotransmitters in your gut than in your brain.
Man, it breaks my heart to walk around here and see people eating hot Cheetos or like crazy raspas and all these chamoy things, and it's like, man, it's almost like you're killing yourself.
Yeah, it's all about balance, right? I mean, I'm not trying to get in here and have people eat kimchi, 3 times a day, 7 days a week, right? But I think we got to start making fundamental differences and changes. If we're eating hot Cheetos every day or raspas every day, yeah, that's a problem, right? That's just feeding that sugar addiction, or that's feeding the wrong bacteria in our gut, right? And it's a battle not only for our cravings, and see, that's the other thing we're learning, right? Is when we get those sugar cravings, what that is, that's your body and your gut signaling, feed me. And that could be the bad bacteria, because that's their energy, that's their food, is the sugar. And so the wrong kind of gut bacteria is like giving you that sugar cravings. Feed me, feed me, feed me, give me food, right?
Oh, maybe that's why when you get like a sugar craving, some people fiend for like chocolate.
That's what it is. A lot of times it has to do with the balance in their system. It's out of whack, and then that's what your gut's telling you, feed me. It's not about feed us, the human.
Yeah.
It's feed the gut. It's feed that bacteria, and it's the wrong line of bacteria.
In essence, you're like a slave to your gut and whatever they want you to do, right?
Absolutely. They are starting to find that direct correlation.
It's so funny because the way we're talking right now, to me and you, that makes 100% sense. But I think that there's probably a lot of people at home who don't even realize that this gut bacteria thing is happening, and it's like making medical breakthroughs all over the place.
Yeah, it's really, it's just, I nerd out about it. It's just amazing how we learn about what's going on.
Oh, I agree 100%. But to talk about your company some more, because that's a place where I am fascinated with how you've got it and where you've got it. Tell me how you guys started. Your first product, how did you make it? Where did you make it? Who was with you?
So I used to work the oil business. I was in South Texas Oil, so it's kind of what I said. I didn't come from the food business. And we wanted to do something on the side, right? We saw oil kind of slowing down. We're like, hey, well, and I've always been an entrepreneur, not a big corporate guy. So I was not really enjoying the big oil service company thing, right? So we started looking for something. I was like, man, my grandma used to make this tomato jam that I grew up with, and I looked for it everywhere.
A tomato jam?
Tomato jam.
Okay.
Yes, it's really.
Thus the tomato on the logo? Okay,
well,
I got it.
Yeah, the tomato, that's a good point. So that was the product number one, right? That was our core of what we started. And I couldn't find another company make one. I think I found one in Schulenburg, right? And I took it home. I was so excited because for 15 years I've been bragging about tomato jam to my wife. And I finally found one, took a spoon in it, put it in my mouth, and went, bleh. It sucked. So the wife said, well, stop your complaining. Why don't you just make it?
Yeah.
So called the aunt, got the family recipe. We made it. I screwed it up. The wife got a hold of it. She made it, and it was like I was flashback to being 5 years old on my grandma's stool at her bar, eating tomatoes jam on my toast. So.
After that, did you know you had to get this to the masses, or what was the deal?
Well, no, we just thought we were onto something, and so we started I would take it out the oil field and I started selling it to drillers and company men. And
get the hell out of here! Yeah. Wait, so you're an oil man and you're going there with your tomato jam and you're telling your oil man friends, "Hey guys, buy my jam."
Yeah, I tested all my products on the oil field. Yeah, I even got roustabouts to buy kimchi. I mean, you got these guys that are in the middle of nowhere, Texas, buying kimchi and mixing it with their scrambled eggs.
Wow.
Yeah, I was blown away. So I was like, we're on to something here.
Man, that is so cool. I mean, I don't want to distract for this, but one of the points that I would like to make is this man made it happen where he was at. Yeah. I mean, he was in the oil field and he started his business there because, you know what, man, a lot of things that I hear from people when they're trying to start their own business is like, I got a job, I got this limitation, I got this limitation.
You're only limited by your own mind and what you put in front of you, right? I mean, we made it working 90 hours a week in the oil field and coming home and trying to do whatever it took, right? I mean, and I went to school during that time too. So I was, trying to take Calculus 3 when you're working 90 hours a week is insane, let alone trying to run a food business. So.
Get out of town, Jack. Yeah. Now, okay, so you guys had these beautiful, humble beginnings, and they really are beautiful to me. But I see that you guys are now doing taste testings at Central Markets. You guys are at Total Wine & More. What's up with that? How's this growth come about?
This last year has just been a blessing and a roller coaster ride. We developed, so we really started falling in love with the fermented side. And we pulled away from the jam, even though that's number one in our core, and that's where we got Madge with my grandma. We just realized that our goal was how can we make food healthier?
Okay.
And if we're battling this sugar, how can we really stand behind and support sugar products? So we really decided to make a hard pivot and pull away from it, unless you make special requests, right? That's, but for the most part, we've pulled away from it. And so now we just fell in love with this fermented. And one day I was like, I want to make something different. I've always been like, how far can I push this fermented category, right? I don't want to be like everybody else. I've always said when everybody's zigging, I zag.
Good.
Right? And so I'm always looking how to push the boundaries. And it's like, to me, it's part art, part science, right? It's that right brain, left brain, and I love it. And so one day I was like, man, I want to do a unique product. And so it's like, I need something to drink. And I didn't want to do kombucha because there's some awesome kombuchas in the area. Some friends of mine, people I like, I was like, nah, I don't want to really go head-to-head with them. And I was like, man, how about doing something unique? How about a Bloody Mary? Can we do a Bloody Mary fermented? And I was like, why not? And that's been my whole motto, right? Well, why not?
Yeah.
And so went home, went to HEB, bought some supplies, and a week later I was like, oh my God, we're on to something. And so fast forward about 4 months. Next thing you know, we got manager Brian for Total Wines, and at first I thought, hey, I only want 4 stores, and it took a little while to get in, and the next thing I know, one day I hear my email going ding 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 ding, all the notifications, and I looked and there was 12 POs.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. Say, what is a PO for people who don't know?
PO is a purchase order. It's when the store says we want to buy your product.
And you got 12 of those in one day?
Yeah, we only wanted 4. We ended up getting 12, right?
Wow. How many did you usually get in a day?
Well, this is our first, this is really, we weren't doing mass market, right? This is like a huge jump from just farmers markets to all of a sudden like a mass retailer.
Wait, so you went from doing, the farmers market to 12 POs? How did you make that jump? That's an incredible jump.
Yeah, I think part of it was because we were a unique product, right?
Okay.
We were the first product in the country like this. And the retailer that we chose, Total Wines, is very progressive on that, looking for, unique products. So I think it was a combination of good timing, but we made an awesome product. It tasted really good.
Well, I'm saying logistically, how did you guys make the jump?
That's crazy. Right?
That's I knew it was going to be, yeah.
That's still a problem we're facing today because it's been, fast forward, we're no longer just in 12. That was the initial. Now we're in 27 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, we're in every one in the state of Texas. So logistically, it is a battle, right? And I think hindsight, my personality is I always say yes, and then I go, oh crap, how are we going to make it work, right? I'm always pushing the envelope. But there's a trade-off that sometimes logistically it has been very tough, right? Every weekend I'm either in Houston or Dallas running around doing tastings. I'm delivering at least once a week.
And you're based out of San Antonio?
Yeah.
Just for people who don't know the geography of that, that's 3.5 hours to Houston, 6.5 hours to Dallas, no?
I think about 5.5 hours up to our store up in Allen or 6 hours up to Denton.
And you're doing this in 1 week? You're doing those 2 trips?
It's very common. Very common.
Wow. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Well, hey, listen, my brother, is there anything you'd like to say to the people? And I'd really like you specifically to talk on that never give up attitude because I love the way that you guys have been resilient.
Yeah, I think it's about chasing your dream, right? If there's no excuses. You can do it. Especially if you're interested in the food business. Food business is a tough business, but it's fulfilling. At the end of the day, you're making a product that somebody can put their hands on and they taste, and you're going to get that instantaneous feedback from them of they love it or they don't, right? So talk about fulfilling in your soul to see that when you hear people call and get on the phone for 5 minutes and brag about how good your product is, it swells up your head. But at the end of the day, you're making a difference, man. Especially for us in the health industry, health food, you're making a difference too, right? So, but yeah, I think it's just tenacity, never getting up, because you're going to get kicked in the stomach about 3 times a week in this business. But you need to look forward to that because that's growth. When you get kicked and you get knocked down, you got to get back up and you just got to go, great, that's awesome. Kick me again, because that means I'm growing, right? If you're not pushing hard, you're not getting kicked, you're not growing, right? And so, that's my advice, right? It's just chase your dream. When you get kicked up, come up, ready for the next one, and just excited about it.
Amen. So to take Mr. Miller's advice, growth only comes with challenges. Embrace the challenges. Mr. Miller, we thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.